Step 2 CS is often seen as a very horrifying and unpredictable exam, especially for the IMGs who have no clue about the US healthcare system. Statistically speaking, more IMGs fail the Step 2 CS than Step 1 and CK combined. But with the right strategies, you can definitely ace this exam. This is everything medical, and in this video, I'll discuss my Step 2 CS experience and some tips based on my experience, such as what is the best center for IMGs, what are the best materials and resources for the exam, my study timeline and the total preparation time, and some tips for different exam portions. Before we move on, can you please quickly subscribe to my channel? It will help me a lot. Thank you. So, the best center for IMGs, I think an IMG friendly exam center is a myth. All exam centers are the same because the exam is standardized and the chances of you passing the exam are pretty much the same everywhere. But having said that, for IMGs, I think Houston is the best, but not because of its pass rate, but in other aspects, such as Houston has cheap accommodation, lots of IMGs to practice with, best atmosphere for practice, and the weather is great. The second best exam center in my opinion is Chicago, but again, keep in mind that all exam centers are standardized and you decide based on your convenience. Study materials. I think First Aid for Step 2 CS is all you need for this exam. Ideally, you need to start reading it 2 months before you leave for the USA. It will give you every little detail you need to know about the exam, such as the number of cases, the total time, the do's and don'ts of the exam. The sooner you start reading USMLE First Aid for CS, the sooner you'll master the CS. If you're watching this video, think of today as the day 1 of your Step 2 CS preparation. Link is in the description. Buy this book right now. Study timeline. I'm a visa requiring IMG from Pakistan with the worst English skills ever. I took my CS exam after my Step 1 exam. At the time of my CS preparation, I had just graduated and was about to start my house job / intern year. It took me 6 weeks or 40 days to prepare for the exam. On average, I used to do 10 cases of first aid every day. I completed first aid cases 2 to 3 times before the exam. If you don't have any typing practice, I would highly suggest you start practice your typing at least 2 months before you go to the USA. It will help you type fast and save valuable time. Just type one patient note from first aid a day at least. It is highly advisable if you can get any hands-on US clinical experience before the exam. It will boost your confidence during the patient encounters. Tips for clinical encounter and diagnosis, ICE portion. Remember the rule of pertinent negatives. Ruling out certain diseases in the case is as important as diagnosing the case. So, asking the right questions is super important. I took the exam before my house job / intern year, so my clinical knowledge was super weak. I heavily relied on mnemonics to help me get through all the possible diseases. I highly recommend using some kind of mnemonics for history taking. In my opinion, the best set of mnemonics is Shirazi notes. Link is in the description. Your patient note is a critical part of your performance. Start typing from day 1. You need to be as fast as possible. Typing in uppercase will of course save your time. Remember, don't make up diagnoses. If you don't have any supporting points, it is a major red flag in the exam. You will lose points if you write up unnecessary diagnosing points without any need. My patient encounter strategies. I used to take a 1-minute break before entering the patient's room. I divided the blue sheet into 4 portions. I would write all the biodata, the chief complaint, and then all the mnemonics for that specific complaint's differential. Then the rest of history, I also used to write in form of mnemonics. I advise you to take up 1 minute before entering the room. It will give you time to think and organize your blue sheet. Tips for English proficiency. SCP is the exam portion in which the highest number of IMGs fail. I am a non-native English speaker, so my English is bad, as you already have guessed from this video. To help with that, I made a template to use in every patient encounter, and I memorized that template. The template had sad sentences, happy sentences, counseling sentences, and transition sentences, etc. My advice, make your own template. Stick with your template. Practice the template and it will minimize the mistakes in your English. Also, speak super slow. If you speak too fast, the SPs won't understand you, resulting in a bad performance in the English portion. I have the worst possible accent, but good news, accent does not matter as long as the SP can understand you. Tips for communication portion. I see this advice thrown around very often: be yourself or act original. My advice is don't be yourself. If I was myself during the exam, I would have definitely failed. Remember, you're playing the character of a super friendly, sympathetic doctor with emotional IQ higher than your actual self. Practice acting like you're the nicest person in the world. This is a form of method acting. Think of the standardized patient as an actual patient in a real hospital. Practice showing fake sympathy. Don't speak out your sentences like a robot. Give them some emotions. For example, hello, Mr. Shelby, how are you? I'm Dr. House. Nice to meet you. Don't do this. Hello, Mr. Shelby. How are you? I'm Dr. Dre. Nice to meet you. Do this. I hope you got my point. On the exam day, take a pack of gum with you. Your breath will stink by the end of your exam. Of course, American grads will nail the exam and will probably enter and exit the room way before you. But they're trained for this exam all throughout their medical school, so don't take that seriously. Tips for physical exam. While doing each exam, inform the standardized patient what you're doing so they can document that you performed that exam. If you think a certain exam might be even slightly painful to the SP, skip it. If you're doing deep palpation of abdomen, practice doing fake pressure to the SP so he doesn't get uncomfortable. Similarly goes for uncomfortable procedures like otoscopy. Remember, your future is in the hands of the SPs. If you fail the exam, your American dream is in jeopardy, so give them the respect that they deserve. Last advice: practice, practice, practice as much as you can. If you want to know about my step 1 or step 2 CK exam experiences, I've posted the video links in the description. If you want the written form of this experience, the link is in the description box. That's it, guys. I'll see you in the next video.